Welcome back to Vinny's Aquatics. My friends, today we're going to talk about salt. Yeah, I love salt on my french fries. I enjoy salt on my corn on the cob. I mean, who doesn't? And now I just made myself hungry. But I want to talk about aquarium salt. Not for a saltwater tank. Of course, you need salt for a saltwater tank. I'm talking about aquarium salt in our freshwater aquariums. Now, this subject is probably going to get quite a few of you upset who think different things about salt. But I did a bit of research, and I'm going to show you what I learned. And if that bothers you, well, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's get on with this. Okay, so I went online, and you know, everything you read online is true. We all know that. So this is what I read. Adding salt to a freshwater aquarium. The practice of adding salt to a freshwater aquarium has been around almost as long as the hobby. There's several reasons why we do it. Stress reduction, medicating number one to me, adding hardness, and for fish commonly found in brackish water. But we're not dealing with brackish water here. We're dealing with freshwater. It's become common practice for employees in stores to tell all their freshwater customers to add a teaspoon of salt per 10 gallons. It's not a practice most advanced hobbyists partake in, though, and nor is it recommended. Before you add salt to your freshwater aquarium, you should definitely understand why you're doing so and any possible side effects. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and share this video with your friends. Most wild populations of freshwater fish and plants in the hobby, they come from rivers and lakes that have very little, if any, detectable salt. Freshwater fish are adapted to water with a salt content that is measured in parts per million versus seawater that's measured in parts per thousand. In many cases, freshwater has very low salt content, and in some areas of the world, like the tropical rainforest, it can be so minute that it's undetectable. Now, freshwater fish and plants, they've evolved, allegedly, to live in an environment that has very little salt. And because of this, some are very sensitive to salt. Freshwater plants, they don't tolerate much salt at all. If you're trying to keep live plants, please, don't use salt. In some species of fish from soft water, they don't tolerate much salt either. And the addition of salt with these fish, you should also avoid it. Okay, now, don't get me wrong before you light up the comments. Salt as a medicine, it has its pros. It does things. We all know that. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is how some shops, a lot of shops, and the manufacturers of the salt, they recommend adding salt as a routine permanent treatment. Now, while salt has some advantages as far as medicine, there's no need to dose with salt on a permanent basis. Most experts would only say do this for a brackish species. Now, you have leading fish vet. I didn't even know there were leading fish vets. Chris Walster, hope I said his name right. He's quoted as saying that freshwater fish should be kept in fresh water, not any other. He goes on to say, we have no idea what effect placing freshwater fish in a salted water has from a welfare perspective. We know that if we place freshwater fish in salt water, that they will die sooner or later. We simply don't know, even at a low level of salt, whether it irritates the gills or the eyes. Fish health expert, well, yeah, I guess if there's a leading fish vet, there should be a fish health expert also. Dr. Peter Burgess says he certainly doesn't advocate salt for permanent use. Unless the species has a natural requirement for salt, then we should not add salt to an aquarium. Tonic salt, which is, the aquarium salt, for freshwater fish, is a bit like aspirin for humans. Both medicines have many beneficial uses, but neither should be administered routinely just for the sake of it. Bear in mind that most tropical community tanks will contain salt-sensitive species, such as catfish. Salt can be used as supportive for salt-tolerant species. For example, if the fish has severe ulcers or other major skin breaches, that can place a burden on the osmoregulatory system. Ooh, see, I said that. But healthy, unstressed fish, I repeat again, but healthy, unstressed fish do not need this support. Never use salt to compensate for bad fish keeping. Oh, you could just drop the mic and walk away after that one. So, why do we add salt to a freshwater system? When freshwater fish are stressed, they suffer from osmoregulatory dysfunction, which basically means that they lose bodily salts to the surrounding water. Stress causes the saltwater balance system to stop working properly, and the fish suffer. Adding salt to the water in times of stress can help minimize salt losses by the fish. It can also reduce the toxicity of pollutants and may kill some pathogens. Like I said, it works as a medicine. But you got to think to yourself, once you dose your tank with salt water for a medicine, how are you going to get that salt out afterward? And if you put it in your tank regularly, why are you doing that? Just stop doing that. It's a freshwater fish. I know it says on the box, do it with water changes. And I tell you, the box is full of it. And the box should be ashamed of itself because it's wrong. You cannot put that. The salt doesn't go anywhere. The only way you can get that out is water changes. If you get your salinity up, you're going to have to do 14 to 20% water changes 2 a day just to get that little bit of salt out. It's probably bothering your fish and you don't even know it. If they're sick, of course, but that's why you should have a hospital tank, a quarantine tank. It doesn't have to be anything special. You can just get a sponge filter, a heater, and a big Tupperware thing. Fill it up with water, you add your salt to that, and that way you're not screwing up your regular aquarium. So again, these are freshwater fish. They're not brackish, they're not marine, they don't live in jello. They don't need salt added to their water. They've adapted to freshwater chemistry. That is what the kidneys can handle. Adding salt all the time, see, that's where I have a problem. Adding salt all the time, especially at the dosing suggested by the companies selling the salt. I mean, who would expect they'd want to sell more salt? I mean, you know how companies are so, forthright. So these companies, they double it up, and it's not good for the long-term health of the fish. Lake Tanganyika is one of the hardest, most alkaline bodies of fresh water on the planet. Seachem Cichlid lake salt has a recommended dose of half a tablespoon per 10 gallons. The usual recommendation for aquarium salt is 1 tablespoon per 5 gallons. That is 4 times as high as one of the hardest and most extreme bodies of fresh water on the planet. Subjecting all freshwater fish to this salinity, especially your soft water fish. If you have soft water fish, it's going to harm them long term. They simply aren't adapted to handling such a salinity. Their physiology is not able to handle it long term safely. So there's two big problems I have with this whole salt thing. Now everybody knows API aquarium salt. There's many other brands of aquarium salt, but that's the main one I think everybody gets. It's the one you see everywhere. It says right on the box that it promotes fish health and disease recovery in freshwater aquariums, which I agree with. But then it says use when changing water. See, right there I have a problem with it. You don't want to use this every time you change your water, especially if there's nothing wrong with your fish. What are you doing? They're freshwater fish. Leave them in fresh water. And are you seriously doing enough water changes to reduce that? So every time you add it in, it's going up a little and a little and a little. Pretty soon you're going to be able to throw a saltwater shark in there. I mean, come on. These companies sometimes are just, they're very misleading, and they really shouldn't tell people to do this. Now, what else did I see here? Oh, this is what really bothers me. Listen to this. Listen to this first line in an article I'm reading. Next time your fish is sick, the remedy might not be further away than your kitchen table. Ooh, my kitchen table. Ordinary table salt Is it useful? I'm going to stop right there. Guys, ordinary table salt is terrible. It's horrendous. It's bad for you. Why would you put that in your aquarium? Now I got to tell you about table salt because I love all of y'all and it's something I actually know. So this is what table salt is. Table salt is a form of sodium that is manufactured, okay? It's called sodium chloride. It's similar to like an illusionist like David Copperfield. Table salt pulls up a strong impression of salt that are naturally occurring. The naturally occurring salts are the ones you want to consume and you'd want to put in your aquarium, which is to say that it merely mimics the flavor of what is necessary for the body. It freaks me out to learn that the taste of this processed salt stems from the manufacturing of 97% or more sodium chloride, as well as an assortment of chemicals like synthetic iodine. You're not even getting the good iodine that helps your thyroid. You're getting synthetic iodine, fluoride, which it says right on the toothpaste, you're not supposed to. What happens if you swallow a pea-sized? You're supposed to call poison control if you swallow a pea-sized amount of toothpaste, but they're putting it in your salt, the fluoride. Then there's aluminum, which you guys saw me, I welded a stand out of aluminum. Why would you want to eat that? There's bleaching agents and even sugar, just to name it a few things they do to it. Table salt is made through a process called iodization. Iodization, it's not magic. It's an application of very high heat, around 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really hot, which causes the salt to lose the majority of its essential elements. So you're getting rid of all the essential elements too, because God forbid we get any of that. As a result, standard table salt has no nutritional value. None. Zilch. Additionally, the intense heating processes cause the sodium chloride's internal crystalline structure to be isolated individually, which means that it's energetically dead as opposed to raw, naturally occurring salt. So your body has to work 10 times as hard to metabolize it, using valuable energy that other organs and cells need to function properly. You stay away from the crappy table salt. Just throw it in the garbage. Throw it in the garbage. Look there. See, I'm holding the salt up now. Wow. I am doing a water change as we're doing this video. But anyway, just throw out your table salt. Throw it. Make sure you don't leave it anywhere any animals can get to it. And God forbid, what are you people thinking? Listen, I like, who are these people? The Spruce Pets. I like them. But they say common table salt is suitable. And no, it's not. It's not suitable. It's not suitable for you. It's not suitable for your fish. It's not suitable for anybody. Go get the natural, healthy salt. And go get the right salt for your aquarium. Don't use marine salt in your freshwater aquarium. And don't use aquarium salt or some weird table salt in your marine aquarium. It's just salt. It's not that expensive. Something else I don't hear anybody talk about is Osmotic Shock. Now, that's when you either add too much salt or you remove too much salt way too quickly, and you can cause your fish to go into shock, which you know that's not good for them. So don't do that either. And then when you remove the salt, you got to make sure that the fish are 100% healthy after you medicate them. Sick fish, they don't do well with osmotic drops. It usually takes a fish 2 to 3 weeks to recover from a disease outbreak. And only do small water changes when removing salt. That way you don't put them in the shock. No more than twice daily at 20%. That's what's recommended. It'll take approximately 14 to 20% water changes to get the salinity below 100 parts per million. This is going to take you a few weeks. So think about that before you put salt in your aquarium too. Right? If your fish aren't sick, don't use the salt. Now, when you want to use the salt is when you have nitrite poisoning. The addition of 1/2 ounce of salt per gallon is beneficial to prevent nitrate from poisoning your fish, especially in a newly set up tank. And it's also works on parasites. Not all parasites, But many external parasites can be effectively removed with the use of salt. You can do a dip, you can hyposalinity. There's a lot of things you can do. It works as a medicine, but like all medicines, you don't just keep adding it you don't keep taking it and taking it and taking it when you feel better, and then it's gonna build up. If you use salt too much, a lot of these parasites, they will build up a resistance to the salt. So you definitely don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up and put a nice little bow on top, like one of my favorite YouTubers said. So my main point here is companies like API and these dullards in these stores that keep telling you every time you do a water change, constantly add salt to your aquarium. Well, they're wrong. They're just totally wrong. Yes, you use it for medication, but you don't just keep pumping salt into your aquarium when it's a freshwater aquarium. I think to be honest, I think it's deceptive advertising. I think they should take that off the box immediately. And another thing is, when people like Spruce Pets and these other, just go online and table salt for aquariums, and they're all saying, yeah, you can use table salt for an aquarium. No, you can't. It's poison. It's bad for you. It's bad for your fish. It's lazy writing. Go do just go look it up. Why would you want aluminum? And they bleach it. They bleach the salt and they bleach our sugar. Why would you ever say, hey, give me a cup of bleach? Do you ever go get a piece of chicken and say, geez, this is missing bleach? No, you don't. It's insane. There's no reason for any of that stuff to be in there. All right, so go get yourself the fresh salt. And next time anyone brings up these silly ideas to you about just keep putting salt in your aquarium, tell them to pump their brakes and think about it for a minute. And the people who recommend table salt, I would just leave the room. I would just not pay attention to them. They're kind of like the crazy lady that used to stand on her porch, grabbing at friggin' moss and stuff that wasn't there, just screaming obscenities at the children as they roll by on their bikes, because they're back crap crazy. It's table salt. It's disgusting. Well, that's my rant for today. Don't use aquarium salt in your freshwater aquarium unless you have a problem. Unless you have something to treat and use it as a medicine. It's not for daily use, and table salt is garbage. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I sure as heck did enjoy making it. Hey guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it all, and I'm going to see you next time on Benny's Aquatics.